makers, I'm Bree from Minerva, here today with another trend report. So today we are talking all about the dark romance trend. I absolutely love this theme as we're heading into the cooler months. Thematically, we're looking at beautiful, dramatic details in dark colors and prints. The mood is all about like embracing femininity with a little bit of mystery, a little bit of edge. So I'll talk a bit more about the dark romance trend in terms of silhouettes, fabric types, shapes, colors, prints, all that. And then I have 7 sewing projects to inspire you to add some dark romance into your sewing queue this season. Because the dark romance trend is one of the less tangible themes this season, I thought I would share a bit more about my process for taking this kind of abstract trend and coming up with concrete sewing plans. So whenever I'm looking at like the runway or the high street shops, I like to start by categorizing the looks into garment types and fabrication. So within the garment type category, I like to look for silhouette, fit, and construction detail. And then for fabrication, I'm first looking at like fiber and types of fabric that are used. So is it something that has a lot of structure or volume that holds its shape really well? That might suggest like cotton or linen. Fabrics that swish and have kind of more of like an ethereal feel would suggest like silk, viscose, or tencel. And this is also where I like to look at fabric texture. So if there's any like special finishes or unique weaves. And then once I have the fabric type kind of down a little bit, then I look at print and color. Now, this is just my method. I do think it's a really effective way to break down a look into like manageable bite-sized pieces, especially when the look like this one, the dark romance trend, is kind of more of like a mood or a vibe. Yeah, it's a little more abstract. So once you know the garment type and the general fit, you can start looking for sewing patterns with similar shapes. And when you know what kind of fabrics to look for, you can search for something similar to recreate those looks. Our website is really great for finding these specific patterns and fabrics. You can use the filters that are on the left-hand side. So for patterns, I like to use the filters for garment type, and I also really love the one to organize between patterns made for knits and wovens. I think that's really helpful. And then for fabrics, you can search fabric type, color, motif, fiber content. You can get really, really specific to find the materials for recreating a specific look. So starting with garment type, the dark romance trend is pretty much across like dresses, blouses, tops. There's some skirts and trousers included as well. It's really quite broad. Now the fit is also pretty broad. It varies quite a bit between really tailored garments and ones that are like soft and flowy. But the common theme here is that everything is very feminine leaning. Now construction details to me are like the defining characteristic in this little garment type assessment. We are talking ruffles, flounces, pleats, pin tucks, special collars. A lot of these details have a very vintage feel to them and take inspiration from several different eras. Looking at fabrics, there's quite a mix of structured and drapey fibers, and we're leaning very hard into specialty fabrics like sheers, satins, and velvets, definitely playing up some luxury here. The most defining factor, though, for the dark romance trend is that all the colors and all the prints are of course very dark. So as well as black and charcoal and navy, jewel tones like wine and emerald are really popular. Now we're looking mostly at solid colors with special weaves or textures, but some moody feeling florals and some nice celestial prints on dark backgrounds definitely fit this trend too. So as I said, I have pulled 7 patterns and 7 fabrics to serve as some sewing inspiration for folding this trend into your sewing practice this season. So we'll start with dresses, and then I have some tops and a skirt to show you. All of the products, of course, are linked below, so you can follow those links if you want to learn more about any of them or see what other creators have sewn up with them, so don't forget to check that out. So first up, I have a mini dress. This is the Vicky Sews Sharon Dress. I really love this style. It's definitely inspired by the like Sabrina and Wednesday vibes we've been seeing both on screen and in the shops the last couple seasons. It's kind of like a witchy schoolgirl take on a classic shirt dress. So it has a pleated mini skirt and a dramatic Chelsea collar. Now we have a really classic shape through the bodice with darts at the bust, waist, and shoulders. The puff sleeve is made from shirring at the hem, which gives that nice soft shape, and the skirt is shaped with inverted box pleats at the front and the back. The Sharon dress comes in sizes EU 34 to 52, which covers hips measuring 34 to 48 inches. It's considered an intermediate pattern. The body construction is fairly straightforward, but the collar and the buttonholes do require some more attention. So most light to medium weight woven fabrics will work for the body of the dress, but you'll want to make sure that you've got something with a bit of structure to hold that super sharp collar. So classic shirt dress fabrics like cotton lawn, chambray, shirting, or poplin are great all-around choices. And if you're wanting to lean into those kind of 90s vibes with a drapier fabric, tencel and viscose are great options as well. For a classic meets edgy Sharon shirt dress, I have our Minerva core range 3/8 inch gingham. So this is 100% cotton. And of course I went for the classic black and white, but it does come in over 20 colors, all of which are yarn dyed, just like this one. Now, this is a really great shirting weight. It's like a little bit softer than a cotton poplin, but it definitely has enough structure to keep the shape of the pleats of the skirt. It's going to be so gorgeous. I think it would be such a pretty Sharon dress just in this fabric, but I really love that sample with the embellished contrast collar. I think you could do like a little hand embroidery, or you could snap up some like little appliques to decorate like those points of the collar. I think it is so pretty. So that is my first option, is the Sharon dress in this gorgeous cotton gingham. So next I have the Wilder gown from Friday Pattern Company. This dress, it's an autumn cult classic in the sewing community. Honestly, it makes me want to go kind of all like Elizabeth Bennet. I want to find a meadow and just like waft around in the morning fog. It is so beautiful. And it's a really clever design that is really easy to sew. So this dress is great for incorporating some vintage vibes. I feel like it's kind of modern, like Edwardian, with the ruffle neck and the tiered maxi skirt. That part feels very vintage, but then it's like more modern with the raglan sleeves and the boxy shape of the bodice, so it makes it really wearable too. The Wilder gown comes in Friday Pattern Company's full-size range, so that is extra small to 7X, which is hips 34 to 63 inches. This is an easy pattern. The construction's really clever in that it looks really detailed, but it's deceptively simple sew. It's designed for lightweight woven fabrics. You can definitely use a cotton or linen, which would emphasize the gathers of the skirt, the lines of those raglan sleeves. But for the dark romance vibe, I think it's really great to go with something drapier for a softer silhouette. So I'd go for like a viscose, tencel, or even you could lead into sheer or lace or organza for something really special. So I have been pining for a sheer Wilder gown for a while now, and then seeing all of these sheer maxi skirts on the high street this season has made me want it even more, and I have picked the most amazing fabric. So this is the Molly embroidered lace, and it is from the Minerva core range. So this is 100% polyester, and it has these really incredible, just gorgeous 3D flowers embroidered in there. It's such a gorgeous texture. Now this comes in ivory as well as this black. I think the ivory is super cute. It's very dainty. And then this one has like a classy kind of cool edge to it. So if you're looking to lean into the dark romance trend, I think this is a really good one. You could line it for the Wilder gown, but I think a really kind of like edgier look could be to sew it up as is and then layer it over like a black slip dress. You could do some like big chunky boots with it. I think that would be so fantastic. The Wilder gown, gorgeous ruffle neck in this lace, so incredible. The last dress I have to highlight is the Style Arc Lucy. This one comes both as a knit top and a knee-length dress. It's a semi-fitted t-shirt that is elevated with this like edgy frill along the neckline. It's definitely a case of secret pajamas. So it is super cute, but is also really comfy to wear. So it comes with a full length and a cap sleeve option. Lucy comes in sizes 4 to 30, which is split across 2 packages. So the 4 to 16 envelope covers hips 32.5 to 44.5 inches, and the 18 to 30 is for hips 46.5 to 61 inches. It's rated intermediate. The body is really simple to construct, but you'll want to pay really close attention when it comes to tucking the frills into the binding of the neckline. Now, the Lucy is made for knit fabrics like jersey, ITY, scuba, and velvet knits. Now, immediately when I saw this dress pattern, I knew I wanted a red velvet version. I am usually one to hem and haw and overthink these things, but for this one, I knew exactly what I wanted, just like instantly. So I used the velvet, the knit, and the red filters to browse and find the perfect fabric for the Lucy dress. So I have chosen the Minerva Core range Crush Velvet in Burgundy. This one is 100% polyester. It doesn't have any spandex or elastane in the fiber content, but because of the weave, it still has quite a bit of stretch, which is perfect for sewing up a knit garment. Now, this one comes in over 50 colors, including 2 other reds. So there is a scarlet and a wine color. And I just love this texture. It is so, so pretty. I love the way that it kind of catches and bounces the lights in a lot of different directions with this gorgeous nap. I think this would be such a pretty and romantic Lucy dress. You could even lengthen it for even more drama. I think this would be such a beautiful choice. So moving on to tops and blouses, the first one I have to share is a bustier top. Now, corsets and bustiers have been back in the spotlight recently and definitely one to adapt into the dark romance trend. So I have picked the Nome 2015 pattern. This one was designed by Aronica Cole of Needle and the Bell. It's a really cute set with the bustier crop top and then a wrap midi skirt. The skirt's really cute, but I want to focus on the top for this one. So it's a classic princess seamed bustier. It's got underwired bust cups, it's got boning and a center back zip. You can keep it simple and strapless, or you can add on the cute little shoulder ties. Nome 2015 comes in sizes 16 to 38, which spans over 2 size ranges. So the 16 to 26 envelope is for hips 40 to 50 inches, and the 28 to 38 is for hips 52 to 62 inches. Both size bands, though, come with separate pattern pieces for multiple bust cup sizes, so you can really nail the fit of the bustier. Now, this is an intermediate sewing pattern. There's specialized notions, and anytime there's boning involved, you know this is going to be like a pretty big project. But Nome has a sew along where Aronica actually takes you through everything step by step. Now you want to look for medium weight woven fabrics for the bustier. So ideally you'll want ones with a really tight weave and a sturdy hand. So fabrics like satin, sateen, organza, and poplin shirting, those are really good options for this one. It's going to give you that structure without getting too bulky. And you can also opt for specialty lingerie fabrics as well. For the Nome 2015 bustier, I have chosen the Minerva Core range Jacquard Coutil. So this is get it out for you. This is a cotton rayon blend that is specifically manufactured for corset making. So it comes in black and white. Now, it's not very thick, but you can see it is really, really stiff. There's almost no drape to it. And that is exactly what you want for a corset or bustier. The structure is going to be really good for offering support, especially with the boning. And then I really love that this one has a really beautiful jacquard weave with this kind of floral motif, perfect for the dark romance trend. I think this would be gorgeous, styled just on its own with some jeans or some wide leg trousers, but you could also layer it over a blouse or a knit top for a pretty but also more practical look if that is what you'd want to go for. The next top I have falls into the elevated basics category. So the Agnes top from Tilly and the Buttons is a really sweet scoop neck tee with some pretty add-on details. So you can make it as an everyday tee with either long or elbow length sleeves, but you could also mix in some ruching details to add a bit more vintage flair to it. So you can add elastic at the center front, and that's going to bring the neckline slightly lower and almost into a soft V-neck. You can also create a really dramatic puff sleeve. So you have the gathers here at the shoulder, but then also some ruching along the top of the sleeve here, which creates a lot of extra volume. So I love that it offers the comfort of an everyday tee, but then these dramatic vintage-esque details as well. And that's a really great way to incorporate the dark romance trend into your wardrobe. So the Agnes top comes in Tilly's full size range, so that's 1 to 15, and that covers hips 33 to 61 inches. Now it's rated for confident beginners, so if you have not worked with knit fabrics before, this is a really good one to start with. Tilly's instructions hold your hand and walk you through everything you need to know about sewing with knit fabrics. The Agnes top was primarily designed for jerseys, so if it's your first time sewing knits, I would go with a cotton jersey. Those are the simplest and easiest to sew, but viscose and tencel jerseys, they're a little bit more slippery, but they're really good options. And then rib, ITY, and velvet knits are great as well. I am leaning all into the dark romance vibes with this Minerva exclusive crushed velvet knit. So this print is called Boudoir Bouquet. It is one of my favorite prints from our exclusive collection, and I am so excited that it's now on the crushed velvet base. So this is 92% polyester and 8% elastane, so it is really nice and stretchy. It's got lovely drape as well, and I love how the colors of this print come through on the velvet. You have these gorgeous pinks and purples against the petrol background, and I like how the sheen of the velvet kind of plays up this like ombre gradient of the petals and the leaves. I think it is so pretty, and this fabric really checks a lot of boxes for the dark romance trend. So we have the velvet, it's a specialty fabric, definitely a nod to vintage glamour. We have the dark dramatic floral, and I think combined with the ruching details of the Agnes top, it's going to be such a beautiful, really, really cool nod to the dark romance trend. The final top pattern is the Megan Nielsen Dove Blouse. Now this is another pattern with some really nice variations. You can keep it a bit more basic as like an everyday blouse or as to show off like a fancy fabric, or you can opt for some more dramatic details. So all of the views come with bust darts and a center front seam that leads into a soft V-neck line. The hem has a really beautiful like deep curve to it, and both the hem and the neckline are finished with deep facing, which creates a very clean finish on those curves and those points. Now, the more basic version has a straight elbow length sleeve, but from there you can play around by adding a flared or a circle cut panel, which makes it a really dramatic bell sleeve. So it's a very simple addition that's very easy to sew, but it has a lot of impact. The printed Dove blouse comes in sizes 0 to 20, covering hips 34 to 48 inches, and it's suitable for advanced beginners. I love how the finishing details of this pattern can really help level up your finishing techniques and hold your hand all the way through. Now, most light to medium weight woven fabrics will work nicely for the Dove blouse. Just keep in mind that different fabrics, different types of drape and body will affect it differently. So generally, cottons and linens will have a bit more structure, and fabrics like viscose or tencel are drapier and will fall a bit softer with some more movement. For the Dove blouse, I have chosen this Atelier Brunette Viscose Dobby. So this one is 100% Eco-Vero certified viscose. Now, I chose the rust colorway, but it was so hard to choose. I really love like the entire Atelier Brunette color palette is so good. But I really love this rusty kind of burnt burgundy red. I think it's really great to fit the dark romance mood. Now the color is gorgeous, but what makes this fabric really special is the weave. So the Dobby here is almost similar to a jacquard with this like little mini polka dot motif in there, and it's only slightly raised, so it feels really soft and smooth to the touch, but it still captures and like reflects the light really, really beautifully. I love that extra layer of like dimension. And I think going for the full dramatic sleeve of the Dove blouse would be so pretty, definitely ticking lots of boxes for the dark romance trend with like that beautiful movement and like the sway of the sleeves in this gorgeous like burnt burgundy rust color. I think it would be so beautiful for the dark romance trend. The last pattern I have is a skirt, and this one definitely brings the drama. So this is the Carrie Skirt from Vanessa Hansen's studio. I am in love with this silhouette. I really love how the top of the skirt pulls inspiration from like corsetry with this V-shaped paneled yoke, and then it billows out into this great, gorgeous gathered skirt. There's two variations. So the shorter yoke ends at the natural waist, but my favorite view is the one that has the built up extra high waist yoke with the option for a lace up back. So again, I love the vintage corsetry details here, and then the drama of that full gathered skirt along the diagonal lines of the yoke. It is so, so cool. So the Carrie skirt comes in sizes UK 6 to 32, so that covers hips measuring 30.5 to 59.5 inches. Now, it's an intermediate pattern. You'll really want to pay special attention to getting that point of the V nice and clean. But other than that, the construction is pretty simple and straightforward. You'll want to look for medium weight woven fabrics for this one. Because of the gathers in the skirt, this is another one that the amount of drape and structure is going to make a really big difference. So if you want that like swishy, more relaxed look of the final garment, you'll want to look for like viscose, silk, tencel. Those are going to be great options. But if you're really wanting to play with the drama and volume, you'll want to go with a fabric that has a good amount of body and structure. So poplin, linen, organza, and satin are going to be your best bet there. It'll be no surprise that I am here for the drama, so to play up the volume of this gathered skirt, I have this beautiful Classique Duchess satin from the Minerva core range. Now it's 100% polyester and it comes in over 30 colors. This steely gray is called gunmetal, and I just love the sheen on this fabric. It is so beautiful and silky smooth. It has so much body, like I think it could almost like stand up on its own. It has so little drape here, lots of body, and that's going to be really cool for playing up the gathers of the Carrie skirt. It's going to create tons of volume, and I love the contrast of that super close fitting waist yoke and then just like an explosion of gathers and volumes where it connects to the skirt piece. So this is another one. It checks so many boxes of the dark romance trend. It's a dramatic silhouette, vintage detailing, a specialty fabric in a dark moody tone. The Carrie skirt in this Duchess satin would just be so fun to play with and to style. You could do it casually with like a tee and trainers for an edgy brunch look, or you could dial up the romance and do like a silky blouse, silky on silky look, a fancy clutch. I think it'd be a really cool statement piece for your wardrobe that works really well with the dark romance vibe. So those are my picks for stitching up the dark romance trend. I think this is a really fun one because there are so many ways that you can make this trend your own. So I did identify some common themes around construction detail and fabrication, but the most important one is, of course, to just stick with those darker, moodier colors. But aside from that, it's really about exploring and incorporating design details and vintage inspiration with some like creative intentionality. So that's going to look different for everyone, and I think that is what makes the maker community just so special. I would love to hear from you to see what your favorite romantic pattern details are, or if you have a pattern or a fabric in mind for this dark romance trend. And of course, you can feel free to comment below with any questions. We would love to help you out. We are 100% here for all the sewing chatter. We love talking like sewing plans, patterns, fabrics, techniques. And if you're not already a member of our wonderful maker community, I will drop the link below so you can go sign up and be part of our happy little sewing corner of the internet. We have makers from all over the world coming together. We're online, encouraging each other, sharing sewing experiences. It is truly a great place to be, and we would love to have you here with us. I hope you enjoyed this trend spotlight all about dark romance. I know I am super excited to go dig into some moody floral prints and play around with the dark romance trend. That is all from me today, but make sure you are following on Minerva, are subscribed on YouTube. We have so much fun sewing content to share, and we hope to see you again very soon. Until next time, happy making. Bye!